Debris from damaged homes, collapsed garages, crumbled above-ground swimming pools, and uprooted trees and shrubs litter a total path of 1.5 miles. Miraculously, there was no cost in human life.
Well, that's what it looked like from up in the air, but down on the ground, it is even more intense. Jackie Walker standing by live out in Cheektowaga right now. Jackie?
Bob, down on the ground, you still have to keep an eye up in the sky to make sure you're not going to get hit by a falling tree branch. The Cheektowaga Highway Department has been working all day to bring down trees just like this one that were ravaged by the twister, and they're working along here even as we're talking. We're going to keep an eye up there and make sure that we're not going to get hit. I want to take you over here and just show you this garage right here. This is Sue Gracie's garage. It didn't used to lean like that, but it does now. The good news for her is that the insurance company tells her that they will come in here and rebuild it. She is delighted about the help that she's gotten from the town today and her insurance agent. Now, this garage over here belongs to somebody else who happens to be down in Florida right now. We're told that his insurance company will come in and tear this debris away, take it right away here, but still unknown as to whether or not they're going to actually pay for rebuilding. Also unknown as to what will happen with that car there. Wadi Sawabini is just a few streets away from me at the George Urban Boulevard now. He's been checking on cleanup activities there all throughout this day. And Wadi, how are folks doing over there?
Jackie, people over here have been very busy. As you can see behind me, the house that had its roof ripped off last night has a new temporary roof, and with a lot of help, they've managed to stack up and clean up the debris. But you know, Jackie, the people out here tell me they're not about to be undone by a freak of nature. They're not going to let it ruin their lives. They say they'll be back and rebuild. Reporting live from Cheektowaga, I'm Wadi Sawabini, News 4 Buffalo.
All right, Wadi, and as we've watched, just picking up the pieces requires a lot of help, and that's why the town of Cheektowaga has asked us to give you this phone number. Now, this is the phone number to call if you need any help related to the tornado. The switchboard number is 686-3400. The switchboard will be open until 8 o'clock tonight, and then tomorrow from 9 until 6. Now, the one phone call that most Cheektowaga tornado victims made today was to their insurance agents to find out what kind of financial relief they can get. In some cases, they didn't even have to call their agents because they were out here in the neighborhoods, combing the neighborhoods with their calculators in hand, as Marie Rice found out.
The best way to inspect roof damage is to climb up a ladder and look.
Now, this is one thing you can't put a dollar figure on, the spirit of cooperation, neighbor helping neighbor. We saw this kind of scene over and over today. Marie Rice, News 4, Cheektowaga.
Well, the spirit of cooperation has been very much in evidence out here. I'm sure the county executive would agree with me about that. He's been taking a tour of the area all day today. And Mr. Rutkowski, what is the latest that you can tell us about either federal or state help that might be coming the way to these homeowners?
Well, the federal government hasn't responded yet, nor has the state government, but I had a personal 3-hour inspection today, and we had a helicopter fly over yesterday. There might be more damage than meets the eye. One of the homes looked very good from the outside, but taken inside, there were big cracks in the ceiling, and the roof had been raised, and there was about a 3-inch gap. So what looks like a normal house on the outside could have very substantial damage on the inside. So maybe a closer inspection might reveal more damages. But we're going to do whatever we possibly can to help the people who have been adversely affected by this storm.
All right, so nothing concrete at this point from federal or state?
Not at this point, no.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Rutkowski. As he said, though, everybody has their own personal story to tell about what happened to them or to their homes during this tornado. Everybody has special memories of the tornado of '87, as Janice Lieberman found out today.
The wonderful signs of summer, sunshine and ice pops.
So I just feel like we've been certainly blessed, and we have a lot to be thankful for.
Janice Lieberman, News 4 Buffalo.
Boy, it is so true. You've heard us say it so many times, but yesterday afternoon, just a few feet separated some homeowners from disaster like this. And I know Don Paul told us that on the scale that professionals use to measure a tornado, that this one was not very severe. But try telling that to somebody who has a mess like this to clean up now. Carol?
You're right, Jackie.
All right,
Thank you.
It's 11 o'clock. Now, from Western New York's news leader, this is News 4 Buffalo Update with Bob Coop, Jackie Walker, Van Miller, and meteorologist Don Paul.
Good evening, everyone. Here's what's happening tonight. It dropped from the sky with intense fury, and as suddenly as it came, it was all gone. A tornado swirled out of the afternoon sky today over Cheektowaga, hopscotching its way over the town before rising back up into the clouds. Well, Jackie Walker is joining us now live from the scene in Cheektowaga, where folks are continuing their cleanup tonight. Jackie, what's it like?
Well, Bob, it isn't often that I can reach up and touch the top of a garage, but I can do it tonight here at 375 Cherokee, where Bill Deschaines watched this afternoon as the tornado hit his backyard. Heidi Kidd will be talking to him in just a moment. But first, we want to take you up in the sky and give you a clear picture of the damage caused by this twister. From the air, you can follow the tornado's path as it roared across homes in the area of Cherokee Drive and George Urban Boulevard, peeling off the roofs of houses and tossing trees. It skipped its way to the west of Union Road behind the Putt-Putt Golf and Games. Then police say many people watched it coming.
Came across Union, struck the restaurant here. Then it made a turn to the south, went down about a block or so, and it just disappeared.
In those moments before the tornado raked across the Holiday Showcase restaurant, patrons inside got a good look at it.
Scared the hell out of me. It's pretty, the sound alone is unbelievable. It just, everything flying by. I've seen whole trees flying through the air.
After what seemed like hours, but was really just a few minutes, Cheektowaga residents began pouring into the streets to see what had happened. Debris was everywhere. Trees had pierced houses, and power lines snaked across roadways and curbs. But happily, the families who saw their first tornado on a hot Thursday afternoon in Cheektowaga were unhurt. Well, Heidi Kidd was out talking to those families this evening who had the shock of their lives. And Heidi, I think it's fair to say that people were stunned by what happened when we were talking to some of them, asked them their names and addresses. They couldn't remember their addresses, where they lived.
Yeah, that's right, Jackie. Now that residents are getting over the shock of today's twister, they've been busy cleaning up and they've been contacting their insurance companies. They're generally just trying to get back to normal. But given the extent of the damage at some houses, getting back to normal may take some time.
There's a roof right there.
And they are just happy tonight that there were no fatalities, Jackie. That's been the overriding thought.
Boy, we have heard some scary stories today from folks who were inside their home when that twister hit. But there were a lot of folks who were not in their homes when it hit. They were at businesses along Union Road, particularly in that Holiday Showcase restaurant where a lot of the patrons watched in horror as the twister came their way. And Wadi Sawabini has their story. Wadi?
Jackie, the Holiday Showcase restaurant has been a Cheektowaga landmark for years. This afternoon, this sign was advertising summer salads. As you can see, they now say, now playing Gone with the Wind. It will be a long time probably before this restaurant is open again. Reporting live from Cheektowaga, I'm Wadi Sawabini, News 4 Buffalo.
Thank you, Wadi. That probably is the best slogan of the day, Gone with the Wind. Take a look here at Bill Deschaines. This is part of his house. I'm standing in front of his garage, and his house is laying here. He's been picking it up even while we've been standing here. So, Bob, that's the scene as it looks here right now in Cheektowaga. And I know Don Paul has a little more to tell us about this tornado.
All right, Jackie, thanks very much. Well, joining us now is News 4 meteorologist Don Paul. Well, of course, eggs notwithstanding, our big story of the day was, of course, that tornado out in Cheektowaga. Now, Jackie, you're out there live once again to wrap it up for us today, but you were back in the studio watching some of the video with us as it was happening and as the home video came in, but you've had a chance to see it firsthand now. What's it really look like to you out there? Were you surprised at the amount of damage from what some people are calling not quite a tremendously large tornado?
Well, Bob, first I should point out that I came out here in the dark, so I wasn't able to get the big picture of the damage. But just from my vantage point here in the backyard of Bill Deschaines' house, there is a lot of damage, and everybody out here has a different story to tell about what happened to them. I just spent a few minutes talking to one woman who said she's still shaking tonight. She said she screamed when the tornado roared through, and she spent tonight walking up and down the road looking for chairs and other items that blew from her backyard. Still hasn't found them. Well, hers is one of hundreds of stories that Cheektowaga residents have to tell tonight after a day that they will never forget. Late in the afternoon of a hot, sunny summer day, the wind started blowing, and within minutes, homes and cars and trees were scrambled. And after the initial shock, it was time for the big cleanup to begin. Now, some people cried today, and others screamed, and others just shook their heads and dusted off their hands and started trying to make some order out of all of this chaos here. The power crews are still working tonight to restore power. Folks at the Ucrest Fire Hall are offering shelter tonight. But everyone, despite the destruction you see, is giving thanks that the damage was only to property. And so, Bob, from the scene of the destruction, if we can leave you with any good news tonight, it's just that to our knowledge, there have been no reports of serious injuries.
Okay, Jackie, thanks very much.